Hello there, you Awakening Wonders. Thanks for joining me today for Stay Free with Russell Brand amidst the tumult, the tsunamis and the madness. Let us provide for you safe harbour, sanctuary, a moment where you think it's gonna be okay. Even if you're in the UK, it's going to be okay. Do you know there's that digital ID parade coming up this Saturday? My friend... Well, I say friend, man who never stops criticising me publicly, David Icke seems to be significant in it. I think I reposted it somewhere. Can someone find it? And well, let's tell people to go to that, because I think you really should if you're in the UK. If you're not in the UK, then, well, you've probably made a good choice. You're probably going to be better off. Have you been watching our Unpacked lately? We've made some excellent content where we really look in intricate detail as best as we can about a historical precedent for stories in the news, and we'll be bringing you some more insights into them soon. If you ain't got Rumble Premium yet, get Rumble Premium now, and please do join us in the comments, whether you're on Locals or on Rumble Premium. We want to hear what you've got to say about our main stories. Gosh. Right, here's, let me give you a list of some of the things we're going to be talking about in the next few minutes. Charlie Kirk's truth bomb on American Christianity. Yeah, I liked that. That's where he talked about everyone, the founding fathers was a Christian, and that the American Constitution won't work outside of a Christian culture. A kind of a denial of secularism in a way. Occultism at Tucker Carlson's Alps party. I was at that. I didn't see no occultism. I did meet that, like a really nice UFC guy, Bryce something or other. He beamed such radiance, this guy. I couldn't see how he would beat anybody to death until I started speaking to him. Until I touched his shoulder. Then it was clear that he could do it any time he wanted to. And we're going to talk about Bob Lazar's revelation that there are documentations about Christ and genetically engineered Christ in sort of high-level clandestine UFO-related deep state entities. It's going to be a brilliant conversation. And missing kids worldwide. We're going to start talking about Christmas, because that's the kind of thing we're into over here. And as you know, I'm joined today by beloved Dave from the podcast Shoot Me Straight, which he does with Navy SEAL Eddie Gallagher, who was not pardoned, who was acquitted. Often
that's right.
People say he's pardoned, but he's acquitted. People can find Shoot Me Straight wherever you listen to podcasts. Jake's here as always. How's it going, Jake?
It's going good.
Nice bit of merch. Why am I supporting Bass Pro Shops when I could be wearing our own?
Somebody in the comments said, I don't recognize Russell without leopard print.
Yeah, I know. I've got a target drawn around my nipple. Does that help me be ID'd? That's my biometric data right there around that titty boob. All the way from the United Kingdom, Joe McCann, who's our reporter. What's going on there, Joe? Is it all right?
Things seem all right, mate. Things seem all right. I mean, I'm hearing a lot about this digital ID thing. I hadn't heard about this protest, though, so I'm going to have to go and check that out.
It's the 13th. Can you find it on X or something? And we'll just sort of sling it up on this. Let's find it, and we'll see if we can. Do you think you can get it from X to on the stream? Because I want to look at it for a moment. I reposted it earlier. I reposted David Icke doing it. And Massey, you're in the UK also.
Yeah, mate, I'm in the UK until the beginning of Feb now. So.
It's bleak. It's bleak there. Now, let me get into... The first thing I want to talk about is this tank has gotten seized. Let's have a look. Today, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Homeland Security Investigations and the US Coast Guard, with support from the Department of War, executed a seizure warrant for a crude oil tanker used to transport sanctioned oil from Venezuela to Iran. For multiple years, the oil tanker has been sanctioned. Some people, Jeremy Corbyn in the UK, called it out-and-out piracy. Let me know what you think in the comments and chat. In the old days, before I had these flirtations with what are sort of known as right-wing politics or MAGA or whatever, I would have seen that as old school shock doctrine, US imperialism seeking to control resources in the south of the American continent. What do you lot think? Let me know what you think. Let's have a look at, there's no sound on this, so presumably my mic. Here is that happening. Oh wow, yeah, it's pretty intense. They're just lowered down. Who's these badasses that are getting lowered down? Look at that, they're doing that in real life. Check it out. Getting lowered down on ropes, seizing an oil tanker.
Well, thank you very much. It's been
Here, this is Trump announcing it so we can get a handle on it.
Well, thank you very much. It's been an interesting day from the standpoint of news. As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, a large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. and other things are happening. So.
Jake, what are people saying in the comments? Do people like see this as a kind of like imperialist colonial grab, or do people think, oh, this is what you have to do when you're in a conflict with Venezuela? Venezuela's the nexus of power. And this is what I heard. Let me know in the comments and chat if you agree with this. What I heard was, now Ukraine and Russia's gone so crazy with revelations around corruption and embezzlement within Ukraine under Zelensky that a kind of tacit geopolitical deal's been done between Trump and Putin along the lines of, look, we need that shit in Venezuela, that oil and stuff, and Venezuela having deals with China and deals with Iran and deals with you lot. That can't go on no more. You stay out of this Venezuela situation and we'll back off out of Ukraine. Is it that? Is that how geopolitics works? Let me know in the comments and chat, please. And we'll update you in a second. In American domestic politics, the hostility towards RFK has heightened and increased with Representative Haley Stevens announcing that she's planning to impeach him, or began the process for his impeachment, which of course has to be a sort of Congress-wide activity. Let's have a look at this, because when I saw her making that announcement, I couldn't tell who she was funded by, and that's what I'd like to know primarily and foremost. Is she funded? Does she accept donations from the pharmaceutical industry or the food industry? And with that latter suggestion, I invite you not to make any sarcastic comments.
RFK Jr. has got to go. Today I introduced articles of impeachment to remove him from office. RFK Jr. has turned his back on science, on public health, and on the American people. Under his watch, families are less safe, healthcare costs are skyrocketing, and life-saving research, including right here in Michigan, is being gutted. RFK Jr. is the biggest self-created threat to our health and safety. I cannot and I will not stand by while one man dismantles decades of medical progress. Enough is enough, and that is why I'm pushing to impeach RFK Jr., to hold him accountable.
Saying, Dave?
Saying she looks like she has a gun to her head saying that stuff.
She's
like just reading a teleprompter.
I don't know what's driving Representative Haley Stevens. Let's have a look. This is her in Congress going off about something.
I yield the gentlelady 30 additional seconds.
The gentlewoman is recognized for an additional 30 seconds.
Cause of their servitude, sharing in the profession with those who have not come before you. Similar times of trying medical need, wars and flus past. You will see darkness, you will be pushed, and our society needs you to stand together at this time. Our country loves you. To our doctors and our nurses, I wear these latex
The gentlelady's time has expired. The gentleman from Maryland is reserves. The gentleman.
Gloves are actually a symbol of something, and I think that thing is severe mental illness. And she said she was wearing those latex gloves to remind us of doctors and nurses and their extraordinary challenges. But if you've been looking at what's going on in the UK right now, they've invented something called Superflu that they're trying to sell you as if it's like a sort of a James Gunn reboot of a failing DC franchise. Superflu now you've got to be worried about. Like this time last year, COVID, they're saying the same stuff. In fact, maybe we have some trailers or content from our Unpacked to throw to show you some of that stuff, do we? All right, let me she's out there. Yeah, it would be good to see some of that stuff, I think. Some of the have we got any trailers for the Unpacked in this deck? No?
Not in that deck, no, we haven't prepared those.
We should always have. That's a standardized thing. If you don't mind, always have that there, because then I can sort of show stuff like that. Because particularly this week, there's been so much going on in the UK around that, and we've made so much content around it, and I've posted so much stuff around it on X. I would love to, let me see, have a look at my feed on X. Is there any way that we can't
pull it up on the stream right now?
We can't.
No.
You can't get to X. Yeah, there's if you look at my stream on X, there's I've posted a bunch of it. Then there's all this Candace Owens stuff we've been posting, of course. And then lots of this stuff by Robert Minotti. Yeah, I guess we should probably talk through this show 24 hours ahead to get a sort of a better handle on the stuff we're doing, I think, because it's like if I feel a bit bewildered by it. Okay, yeah, this stuff about the increasing cancers, increasing cancers I mean, there's quite a lot of stuff. And our the stuff with John Campbell would be lovely to you. Yeah, I think we should have assets for our as from Unpacked as standard in this show, if you don't mind.
Are you talking about all the COVID vaccine, like
in the UK now? They're trying to get everyone boosted and take like a bunch of like flu shots, and they're trying to sell this flu season as a kind of retread of COVID. But it's really hard because the language is the same as COVID. They're getting people to wear masks in hospitals, having already had to previously acknowledge and admit that masks don't work. You know, so it's amazing, because one of the things I think we're experiencing as social media becomes sort of like fully immersive is that time is collapsing. Like, things are happening so quickly that it's not like, you know, say the Watergate scandal, it happens and there's an investigative process and slowly it's revealed that there was corruption and burglary of documentation. Or, you know, or pick a conspiracy theory, the assassination of JFK. Now these things are happening so quick. Look at the timeline with, say, tragic and very sad murder, obviously, of Charlie Kirk. Within days, people are sort of processing it and, you know, coming to the conclusion that whatever the truth is, there's more to it than we were initially told.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't, you know, obviously, having just spoken to Candace Owens, I'm sort of nervous about going to a turning point event because, and also, like, whenever you talk to anyone who's in the sort of the white heat of a moment, the content gets viewed more, people talk to you more. But I think that what's positive about this type of social media that we all work in, this kind of independent media, is the ability to have these conversations, the ability to process it. So, you know, like, even though it is incendiary to hear some of the things that Candace Owens is saying and how far it goes, in particular occultist sects within Judaism that she says are orchestrating world events, that's like a difficult thing to hear and a difficult thing to corroborate and a difficult thing to understand, and I suppose even more so when it gets closer at home, when it's like, oh, well, I feel that Charlie Kirk's death is somehow connected to this. But what I don't like is when it becomes, let's not have the conversation, let's shut her down, let's shut this down. I think that's sort of equally dangerous. And I'm thinking I've got a real opportunity at this Turning Point event to be a participant in conciliation, in reconciliation and true Christian principles of forgiveness, unity, togetherness and harmony that extend obviously beyond various fractions on the right and even beyond America and American politics and into a global church where ultimately we've got to start with, what do we have in common? What do we agree on? Can we agree that we should all eat healthy? Can we agree on that? Can we agree that we all love our kids? Can we agree on that? Can we agree on don't like you know, so like, you know, like a spirit of reconciliation and unity is what I'm actually interested in. So how that relates to this superflu stuff is, for all of the talk of conspiracy, for all of the talk of misinformation and malinformation, in a 12-month period now, you're able, excuse me, in this winter season, you're able, if you look at UK media, to see them attempting, look at these questions. Where did flu go during the period of COVID? Why did no one talk about flu? Is it possible that people that had flu, died of flu, were recorded as COVID deaths? Is that even likely? Where's COVID gone now when it comes to the recording of these flu deaths? If we established in the post-COVID period that masks were largely ineffective, what's the point in wearing a mask? If we establish that social distancing is largely ineffective. Now, I know that flu and COVID are ostensibly and very actually different conditions, but what we're seeing are patterns and trends in the way that the media behaves when attempting to utilize crisis. And in this social media environment, that's not going to be possible in the same way. There's too much conversation, there's too much inquiry, there's a total lack of trust. The negative side of that is, of course, this state of bewilderment, I think if most people are honest they're in, whether it's, you know, pick a subject, Venezuela. Is it good or is it bad? What do you think about the Venezuelan government? What do you think about Maduro? Is he a rogue bad actor on the global stage? Or is the colonialist, imperialist United States of America the great Satan, as any Ayatollah will tell you, imposing its will upon a sovereign nation. All of those kind of discourses took place, but now they're taking place immediately and rapidly. And not just with academic participants. Here Comes Everyone was the title of a famous book that, in a sense, took the temperature of where we're going and where we're heading quickly. Now, you know, this is a long-winded way of saying that if we don't find new systems of governance, we are either going to yield to calls for mass centralized control, or there's going to be a good deal of conflict and mayhem and chaos. Why I think that it has to be, why it has to be politically implemented, i.e., politics is going to have to reflect what's happening in social media, because it's a new technology, a new means of communication. And if you try to stifle it and control it, it's going to have unpredictable outcomes. Whereas if you accept it, you might be able to somewhat shape the outcomes. I.e., 20 years ago, if the New York Times said something, that was it, it was true. Now, New York Times says something, most people don't believe it. There's 1,000 counter-narratives, some of them verifiable and true. And that means you can't have constituencies in the same way that you once did. It's too mobile. Like, there's probably no one watching this who still believes BBC, CNN, MSNBC. But the people that are watching BBC, CNN, MSNBC think that this whole world is filled with a type of madness. The problem is that the mainstream media demographic is shrinking and this one is growing. One of the problems is that all of the people in this space are now turning on one another in a kind of vociferous and vitriolic way, i.e., you know, a few years ago, Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk, Dave Rubin, Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, it was all Tucker Carlson, it was all much for muchness. Sort of libertarian, right-wing people with a variety, you know, Ben Shapiro, they were all one camp. Now it's not one camp anymore, and it's not stabilized in the same way. The same thing's happening measurably with the migration of the working class in American politics from the Democratic left to the MAGA right. They used to be marshaled and controlled by the union movement. We learned that in a high profile and somewhat esoteric environment where they explained, this advocacy group that I was participating in did, that their function was to ensure that the solidarity that once provided by trade union movement, when like all American steel workers or American car workers would vote the same way, those industries are gone now. Those voters don't vote Democrat anymore. They once did. They now vote Republican. How are they going to be directed and controlled, even influenced, if you don't like words like directed and controlled? We're in such a mobile time of continual rapid change that if new institutions and new movements don't appear that essentially take what's come out of social media and implement it politically, we're going to live in total chaos for a while. And I think the way it's going is continual crisis are being leveraged to legitimize control. You can't say that in the media. You can't say that. It's okay to shut that person down. It's okay to impose these mandates. But one of the problems is we're not able to focus and go, look, hold on. Remember what they said during COVID? They lied. They lied continually. So remember, the same basic interests and institutions are still in charge now. And the reason I like the flu example is because it's so obviously analogous. You don't have to apply the same mindset to something abstract or distinct. It's the same thing. It's a virus at winter that will likely kill people that are old or have comorbidities, and that's just sort of life. Anyway, man, that's a long-winded way of saying you should try blackout coffee. what I drink. There is some blackout coffee. There's 2 different varieties of it right there. It's handcrafted and made in small batches. And if you haven't tried our Reborn products yet, you should try our Reborn products now. If you haven't got Rumble Premium yet, get Rumble Premium now. You get additional content from us. Did you have what was that? I heard a breath. Was that a comments breath?
Well, I was saying you have we've been through this pandemic before. You have a lot of data, you have a lot of videos, you have a lot of people that have posted stuff. So even what you reposted on X, no one can force you to wear a mask. Like there's been people that are now saying that. So if you see it starting to happen again, don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one I liked that, because the guy that I reposted, I can't remember, someone, just one of my mates sent it to me. And this dude, who posted it, it's called... Robin Minotti. Yeah, he's like his grandfather was the head of the bar association, the legal association in the UK. He says, a reminder that no human being can ever tell you another one to wear a face mask, take a test, or have an injection without violating their inalienable human rights. They can only ask, and they have to accept a negative answer without disadvantage or prejudice. So what we're living in is a sort of an attempt to mask enshrined rights behind authoritarianism. Authoritarianism these days ain't coming at you down the barrel of a gun. It's coming at you down the barrel of a syringe. They're telling you have to do this stuff in order to help others. It's a better tactic, but it has the same goal: mass authoritarianism. Like most of the stuff I bought, it's not really, sort of appropriate for this, for the direction that the conversation is having. But I'm sure it will become relevant at some point. Where do you think? Where are we? We've got like from. Jake's bought Little Drummer Boy. I mean, I can't imagine what the hell you're thinking. Joe's bought something called Lilith. Do you mean like Adam's purported first partner Lilith before Eve? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. So they were doing a big parade in France with a big is it effigy? Is that the right word? Effigy?
Yeah,
like a big image,
yeah.
dummy thing of her. Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
What would you think it is? Occultist darkness?
Well, it seems to be. Yeah. I mean, looking up. Like, I don't know much about this. I put it in ChatGPT, and it says the original origin was like Jewish folklore. Adam's first wife. In later medieval folklore, not the Bible, created from the same earth as Adam, Lilith left after refusing to be subservient, and then God's created Eve, who couldn't fly, because I think Lilith just flew off. Thought, fuck this, I'm not doing it. Do what I want over there.
Fuck this, I'm not hanging around in this garden. She ain't even hanging about for the apples. She's out. Yeah. Straight from the get-go. That's an interesting myth, and I suppose, look, I don't know, man, except as to say that real ultimate power is not human power. That I believe for sure. So I believe there are occultist elements that are ultimately in control of human institutions. And what's been challenging for me as getting familiarized with and immersed in scripture is the Old Testament is all about disobedience and false idolatry, worshipping false gods. And the New Testament is a kind of a new covenant on the basis that evil's in control of the world. Just says it again and again and again in there. Evil's in control of the world. So coming at it from as I've already sort of explained in this succession of digressions today, like, I come at this, I was always anti-establishment, anti-authority. I read things like Naomi Klein's Shock Doctrine, which talked about how American deep state interest infiltrated Latin and Central American countries, destabilized them, imposed governments that were favorable to US economic interests. We know that happened in Cuba. We know that and led to Fidel Castro. We know that it's happened in Nicaragua, across that region. So then that was, for me, that was a materialistic and economic understanding of it. Oh, I understand what it is. America's a superpower, and they go around the world, sort of a little bit, much in the way that the British did with like flags and guns. America does it with logos and guns. I get it. The deepening understanding I get from Christianity is what is behind that power? Why are they doing that? Does it just end with, and I guess we're saying, is the finishing line for humanity, there, I've got the most money and power, I win, or is there something beyond that? And increasingly, I feel that there is. So someone like Candace Owens is interesting because she's going there. And more people are doing that. More and more people are going, what is the power that's behind this power? How does it work? How do we thwart it? How do we attack it? And I think, with my million monkeys typewriter theory, like we're living in that reality now, people are creating the complete works of Shakespeare all the time. You can find it all over the internet. That's it. So you can aggregate on your own X feed a basic outline of the truth. Of course, you can get madness in there, racism in there, anti-Semitism in there, pornography in there. It's full of filth. It's full of madness and filth. But you can trace the outline of truth. And something that I would never have thought about before, Jewish folklore and an earlier iteration of the original human family, is something I will consider now. Joe's brought this bit of content. Let's have a look at this. What is it? Is it from the parade, mate?
Yeah, it's just a little clip off X of the parade.
Here is the real truth about Lilith. Lilith is not a fallen angel. She's not Adam's first wife. She never came from Eden. None of that is in the Bible. The original Lilith is a desert-dwelling night demon, a spirit tied to danger, chaos, and spiritual perversion. Her earliest appearance goes back 4,000 years to Babylon, where she was feared as a female night spirit who preyed on the vulnerable, especially pregnant women and newborns. The Bible mentions her only once, in Isaiah 34, describing her as a creature living in a wasteland after God's judgment, a wilderness demon, a symbol of destruction. The Dead Sea Scrolls list Lilith among violent night spirits and demons that attack people when they are weak and unprotected. The Talmud describes her as a winged predator, nocturnal, seductive, and dangerous to anyone alone at night. Across every ancient source, her traits remain the same. She is nocturnal. She is desert associated. She is predatory. She harms the vulnerable. She embodies sexual distortion and corrupted femininity. Lilith isn't an angel.
And where can I get her phone number?
Isn't an angel. She isn't from Eden. She is a night demon of the wilderness, a symbol of the chaos that rises when femininity is twisted away from God's design. Follow for more. Like, subscribe, and share to help.
Yeah, I see. Okay. So it doesn't mention her by name in here that I can see at a glance. But yeah, that doesn't seem like a good. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a good spirit. Okay, man, Jesus Christ. So,
what? Was a parade or something? Like they to celebrate her? Is that what that was?
That's what it said on the little X feed, but you never really know the context, do you? Do you know what I mean? Like it said French parade in France. Didn't even say exactly where in France. Parade in effigy.
It's Paris,
of
that is,
God.
Joe. That's Paris.
Was that Paris?
Yeah, it is. And also that puppetry, I recognise them. They're actually amazing. Those puppeteers. They they did things like where they had elephants sort of marching through London and stuff like that. It's interesting, isn't it? Because what some people say is, oh no, it's only this, it's only that, and it's no big deal, and it doesn't matter. And yeah, of course you could rationalise and unravel any one of these things, but if you look at what the culture's doing, even with pretty innocuous artifacts, it is a culture that deadens you. See that Terence McKenna, Terence McKenna, like the biologist, and he was one of them people that was doing a bunch of acid and a lot of mushrooms and a lot of psilocybin like 20-30 years ago and reporting on it extensively. He said the culture is not your friend. How is that any different from the function of the world is to distract you, to ensnare you, to control you? That is its purpose and its function. And that's why, Jake, when we were watching that show, Jay Kelly or whatever, on Netflix, the reason I can't get enthralled again by creative endeavor is because I've been enthralled by it. I've been enthralled by it. I spent so long thinking, I'll make that movie, then I'll make that, and then that'll happen, and then I'll marry this person, then this will happen. That anything that sort of feels like that to me, we're all on different timelines, we're all on different paths, but anything like it to me feels like Babylon. Like anything that's about, and then I'll make this movie. I don't know how I can, at this point, and I'm trying to keep this grounded, be involved in anything that's not explicitly, like when we went to Rome, Dave and Joe, and when I see them Caravaggios of St. Matthew, and we're 10 minutes away from the Vatican, I think, well, look, what these Caravaggios depict in the anointing or appointing of St. Matthew, the writing of St. Matthew, and then the ultimate martyrdom of St. Matthew is, if you dedicate yourself to Christ, to the highest principle, to God made flesh, then you're probably going to die for it. Otherwise, what you're probably going to do is some neutered version of it where you sort of do it a little bit, but you pay your dividends and your tributes. What they call it when you used to be in the Cubs? Subs. When you pay your subs to the culture. Like, there's your subs. Like, you know what I mean? I'll do a vodka commercial, or I'll do whatever. Because I think that what I'm reading in this book, the Bible, is extreme. It's very, very extreme. It's an extreme battle. And to me, it does seem more like desert, parasite, entities, succubuses and shit like that. That's what it seems like to me. But those things are, they're not easy to corroborate. They're not easy to detect. They're not easy. But if you zoom back a little bit and go, what is the culture doing? Is the culture getting you, by and large, sweeping generalizations, is the culture getting you eating bad food? Yes. Is it getting you overly invested and interested in sex? Yes. Is it asserting control in a variety of ways? Is it materialistic, telling you that there is no God? Yes. All of those things you can sort of detect. But then when you start to pull at an individual strand, like Candice is doing, you may be at risk, and this is, I suppose, the big question, of not correctly assessing the conduct of a grieving widow. Maybe, maybe who knows what it'd be like if your partner was shot in public, and of many ways you might try and handle that. Or Turning Point cooperating with a criminal investigation. What's that going to fucking look like? And what things you can say and what things you can't say? I don't know. So for me at the moment, I'm just like trying to be involved in these conversations, listen to this stuff, and try to root my understanding in this very beautiful edition of the New International Version of the Holy Bible. Look at that, it's all in there. Nice and thin, easy to read. Love it. Can't go wrong with that.
Is there a place for redeemable creativity? Like, you've changed. What if the motive becomes to make beauty, to draw people to Jesus? Like we talked about bad art. There's a lot of bad art disguised as Christian. But can there be a redeemable aspect of what you do? Are you saying no creative that's not?
No, I'm not saying that, because that's sort of like, that's the sort of Puritanism that leads to witch hunts and Stalinism, isn't it? It leads to Puritanism. Like, that's what, like, communism was puritanical. It's like, we're absolutely not having that now. Talk to Candace Owens about how she says that revolution began, or David Icke, and oh man. But but what I think with the problem I had, I thought that movie on Netflix, Jay Kelly, was amazing and brilliant. I really, really loved it. But what I'm sort of confused by is how a film that's an essay on the sort of futility of Hollywood is delivered to you as a Hollywood package that will still be assessed in the same way. How did it do? What were the product placements in it? I've sort of seen too much of that world. Like there's people in there that I've done films with. There's people in there that I've met. Even some of the people that are sort of behind the scenes, like say with the documentary made about it. And what what I reckon is, like, it's a bit like The Matrix, I suppose. Like, how did that film get made? Then we all just watch it and then go, yeah, I suppose it is a bit like we've had our consciousness captured and controlled, and our energy's being siphoned off and stolen, and there's another reality, and we all just carry on.
I think about, like, C.S. Lewis or Tolkien, when they were writing in these very creative formats. If writing, if they had the technology that we have now, do you think they might have produced movies? Or do you think it would only be writing? That's the part I'm trying to wrestle with you. Of like, man, you're so creative. You've been in that world. How do you redeem it?
See, with currency, where I do agree with Max Kaiser on Bitcoin is that is definitely a reliable form of currency. Like, Bitcoin is a good form of currency. If you were starting now, and I guess we are. That's one of the sort of primary spiritual beliefs. Begin now, in the present. That's where you'll find Christ. If you were beginning now, would you say, let's have a royal family. Let's have these congresses where you sort of aggregate power and you only have 400 people that are in charge of 300 million people populations. You wouldn't, would you? If you were starting now, you'd go, listen, in order to protect the interests of ordinary folks, you're going to have some principles like sovereignty of the individual, sovereignty of the family, respect for people's different lifestyles. Don't let power centralize too much, because it'll always fuck people over. You'd have those principles from the get-go. Now, so with something like, we're in the media that matters most. We're in it. It's direct. And I suppose that's why I get frustrated by small things easily, and the management of my own ability and deficits of what I need to work with, because I'm good at direct. I'm good at direct, sort of straight to a person, whether that's talking one-on-one with a drug addict about if you want to stop taking drugs, eventually you're going to have to go through the pain of not taking drugs. You're going to have to get to the moment where you need to where you want, I don't know what drug this is actually chocolate, because it's one I'm addicted to. Like, you're going to have to get to the moment where you want it really bad and then not do it. Like, I like that. The more, oddly, the more diffuse things get, the less I like it. And I think, like, if what your message is we are involved in a holy war, the governments and most powerful interests and institutions in the world have been captured by evil. Not just some fuck-off country you barely know the name of. The main countries have been captured by evil. And the only solution is for individuals to awaken and become armed. I mean spiritually armed, but gosh, who knows? I mean spiritually armed, the armaments of God, the full armor of God. Like, I can't, at this point, get myself in, and the best way to do that is to write a poem, but maybe this is, we're all at our level, aren't we? We're all at our level, because I've always thought that with, when people say, why don't Elon Musk give half his money why don't you give half your fucking money?
Yeah.
You give half your fucking money, instead of trying to puppet Elon Musk, from 200 miles away behind, loads of black ops security. Give away, if you think everyone should give away half their money, you give away half your money. But where I am what I mean to say is, where I am now is, I'm in this period of obvious volatility, because I've gone from living one life to an entirely another life really quickly. Like, I eat meat now, I've surrendered to Christ, I live in a different country. It's like, it's a lot, it's radical. But lots of things in it were already there. I never... the reason I've not took a vaccine is because something in me knew already, don't fucking take a vaccine, them cunts are liars. Something in me knew that already. And that thing, what's amazing to me is when I'm applying that mindset to Christ, it's not like, hold on a minute, this is obviously some method to get people to conform. It's a control mechanism, which is what I thought before I read it. Before I read it, I would have told you all day long. But that's because one set of churches seems to prioritise resources, power and centralised authority, and the other set of churches, morality and ethics in a kind of a judgmental way, with a fixation on sex and sexuality and identity that's not been helpful. And it feels to me like, and then when people get into the mystery of it, it sometimes seems stupid, that stuff, dancing around with flags, it's like, so how do we manage it? How do we go, this is actually a real thing? If you're a Christian, you believe in the virgin birth, you believe angels and devils are real, you're in a holy war, there are entities and spirits all around us that you don't have the sensory information for. Jesus Christ rose again from the dead, God came to earth in the form of a baby. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there that's not, hi, I'm a Christian. It's not that, is it? It should be, I'm a Christian. Whoa! Let's fucking go! Bang! It's crazy. It's a crazy belief system. And it should be reflected. I don't know how to do it. I'm talking to Christians all day long, every fucking day. Just, I don't know, is my conclusion. I don't know.
I don't know if it's an institution. I don't know if it'll ever be redeemable.
No.
I mean, people are redeemable, right? And so, I mean, if it's the devil's world that he owns, then the only thing he really can't own is the heart, right? And so where that's reserved for the Lord only. And so I think if it's even the best intentioned institutions, they're gonna be corruptible somewhat. I mean, you could be less corruptible. I mean, that'd be a goal.
Because one of the things I like about anonymous 12-step groups is stuff like, we're all crazy here, but not at the same time. We're all crazy, but not at the same time. So you don't have leaders. You don't go, Russell's in charge, or Joe's in charge, or Dave's in charge. You don't do that. You just go, these are the principles. These are the principles. If you start messing with those principles, we're going to be able to call you on it and go, wait a minute. And that's, again, why I'm getting so excited by the Lord. Because it's like, yeah, that's right. Keep saying that this is a Christian company. Keep saying that this is a Christian country. Because, I'm absorbing this information. I'm absorbing it. And if you say this is a Christian country, then I'm going, there's some stuff in here about sharing. There's some stuff in here about surrendering to absolute divinity. There's some stuff in here about peace. There's there's lots of things. Or if it goes the other way, no, you don't know other gods, no other gods. You don't make your sexuality into a god or other people's sexuality into a god. It's a good system. It's a good system. If you're like, I don't believe in anything, it's all made up, then we're all equal on that playing field. Who's persuasive, who's powerful wins.
So the little drummer boy clip as a transition, because I want to hear Dave's thoughts, because I know where he comes from in that world. This is a good church, okay? I'm going to say that. They're in Texas. This is their Christmas production from a couple years ago, and I want to hear y'all.
Let's do it. Take it away, Dave. What do you make of that, you mad Texan?
Dude, I don't know. It's hard to watch. It's a train wreck.
Not very Christmassy.
Lord. It's from Dallas. That church is in Dallas. That's in Dallas is if the South is like the Texas Bible Belt, that's Dallas is like the belt buckle, Just massive churches. They call that church Preston World. It's like a college campus, so to speak. It's not what I picture God meant when he's talking about church, but I know Jake loves it because it's just cringe.
I've been in that world, but that doesn't feel like the world, that we've even ever gotten to that level. It's an interesting.
No.
In Dallas, the argument would be like they have to compete with all the great churches of the world. That's always the argument. We got to do more and more and more. So it's interesting. Massey, as an Iranian drummer atheist, would he go to a church that he would know he could fly in the rafters? Or is that not appealing? Do you say it's all show and I don't want to step foot in that church? Is there something that goes, I'd go visit there?
The drumming was really good. They like Drum Corps International, those guys. I think Americans have just got the best drummers in the world because you do it in colleges. It's just insane. But yeah, that just didn't seem very Christmassy to me. It seems very American over the top. But I do love the mega church stuff. I love all that stuff. So, hey, I'd go to it.
It makes me think about the Righteous Gemstones, that they had some good people giving them information when they created that show.
When in Aristotle, talking about tragedy and theatre, said you need, spectacle is one of the tools. It's like one of. You can use spectacle. But really, in poetics, that's what it was in Aristotle's Poetics, but there needs to be sort of meaning and plot. The idea of the spectacular, I suppose, is an allusion to glory. That God is glorious, that when Christ returns, it's going to be in this glory, and it's going to be in a way that we can't quite even conceive of, that he's white and luminous, and that the whiteness even affects his clothes and his hair, and everything sort of bright and radiant and solid somehow, more solid, not ethereal. And when you're sort of the lights and fantastic things, see, what's the difference between that Paris Lilith parade and that Texan church's spectacle? It's both that they're displays of power. And I would say, in a sense, that unless that in a way, what difference does it make if you're saying that this Lilith is super powerful, or if you're saying banging the drums and floating around in the air is powerful? Unless it, like, what does it come down to? What does it come down to? We're going to die. You're going to die. There's going to be a moment. Think of the person you love most in the world. Think of them. There's going to be a moment where either you're looking in their eyes, if you're lucky, there's going to be a moment where you're looking into their eyes or they're looking into yours, and it's going to be like, see you then. See ya. See ya. And in that moment, what you got? West Ham? Is that what you got? Is that what you're bringing? West Ham? Like, you know, what? Like, what are you going to bring? And, like, that's why what interests me is that them lot, the disciples is who I mean by them lot, like, when he was alive, would, like, shat themselves, like, oh, man, that's gotten too heavy, I'm out. And then not long after that, they were all willing to, oh, well, I've seen a deeper truth. We're flawed and broken. Even when they'd seen him walk on water, they still were like, can you just keep your eyes open for an hour while I'm praying? Oh, sorry, I fell asleep. I like the fallibility. I like the brokenness. And look, I don't feel like I've met very many people that are cleverer than me. I don't think so. Like, when I've spoken to people that are really clever, like, you know, like I've sat and talked to, say, Jordan Peterson or academics and stuff like that. And the truth is, when I concentrate, I really understand. I find it hard sometimes when people get into music or mathematics or things that are sort of very particular disciplines. I sort of think, oh gosh, I don't understand what you're saying anymore. But when people are talking about broad ideas and spiritual ideas, I don't think I've ever not been able to understand it, right? So when I've when I'm going into this is, it's talking in a way that's beyond human reason, and that's sort of hard. And the things I've learned from taking drugs, of sort of, you know, like how I've messed up my brain with drugs, it reaches me in that place, the super rational, the peace that passeth all understanding. It's beyond the rational mind. And I think that we're in such a kind of contentious moment of crisis, and I know people go, well, it's always been a crisis. The First World War was a crisis. Yeah, but that ain't that long ago, actually. It's only 100 years ago. You know, like, so what I feel is, where we are now, I think we are, you see, again, 12 steps is useful. I'm going back to 12 steps. Like, when you get to that point of no human power could relieve us of our addiction or our condition, I think that the culture's at that point. No human power. There's no human, and what the culture is trying to tell you is we can, because AI is going to be able to do this and robotics is going to be do that. And we all know that what will happen with robotics and AI is that it will centralize around existing power structures and they'll become more powerful. That's what will happen. We know that already. But I think the only way out of that is if we learn, like you said, Dave, the human heart is incorruptible. Like, you know, that's the only place Satan can't get. Of course, he corrupts all of our hearts at points, but that's the place where you potentially can assert some ownership. That's the place we must fight from. That's the place we must fight from. And I think the technology for enlightenment is in this book. I think it's in this book. And I think it's in him, in the figure of him. And I don't, like, even though I said that thing about me being very clever and all that, I don't think that that's necessary. In fact, I think that was it called El Camino, Joe, where you walk up to, you know, that thing in Spain, where you go that pilgrimage in Spain. Yeah, that.
Yeah, it might be, yeah. I'm not 100% sure. I
sort of want to do it. It's in March. And one of the things I heard about that is when you go there, you meet some, like, old lady or whatever, and she's not going to talk to you about, you know, Thomas Aquinas or anything, but she's going to show you that she's serious about God by crawling along on her belly or whatever. And it's not about intellect. What I mean to say, the reason I mentioned the cleverness and that I've never really been that baffled by sort of clever people that I've encountered is because of the misapprehension I had about Scripture prior to encountering it. But prior to encountering it, I thought, I know what this is. This is bollocks. I get it. I know this scam. I even say when someone like Ricky Gervais, who I admire, said that there was an argument in his household when he was a kid, and someone said, like, he overheard his mum say something to his brother, and she went shh, like that. Like, you know, like they talked about Jesus in a way that was like, oh yeah, that's for the kids. Ricky was a little boy then, and the mum, oh yeah, well that's all made up, kind of thing. Shh, not in front of him. And he was like, oh, it's bollocks.
Like a Santa Claus, almost like
Santa Claus. Yeah, like Santa Claus. And I thought some version of that. But what I think is you can never the deeper you go into it, the more is revealed. Like it keeps revealing more and more. And actually, if you take it seriously, what it does to you as an individual and what it would do to whole cultures is transform us. That's its point, is about transfiguration, transformation, ascendance, and also this allusion to a time where, this again why I suppose I'm interested in the Garden of Eden stuff and the Genesis stuff, even though obviously it's moving between poetics and symbolism and language that couldn't be understood by a rational mind, which it does say in Eastern mysticism, that which can be described as the Tao is not the Tao, that idea, which, you know, it's everywhere, you can find these things everywhere, is that in the original state, perhaps we were all like him. We were all like beings. We all had a different relationship with matter. Like C.S. Lewis says, you know, when your consciousness interacts with your cortices and moves your body, do you think that's the only way that can operate? Is it not possible that your consciousness can move matter from across the world? And when the revelation comes in quantum mechanics of entanglement, that the reversal of an electron reverses its partner electron's spiral simultaneously, that shows you that space and time are not what we think they are. Even the theory of relativity sort of touched on the edges of that. So what I'm saying is this does describe, in various degrees of, I don't want to say competence, but sometimes it's opaque because of the customs and the language and the limits of our understanding. But it's describing the reality that science is beginning to see the hem of the garment. It's seeing the hem of the garment. But science wants to materialize everything because science is ultimately funded by rational materialist resources, and those resources are Luciferian. And by Luciferian in this context, I mean the attempt by a secondary agent, not the principal, to share dominion with God, with the highest principle. And like it says about Christ being his son, didn't seek equality with him. Even being his son, like recognize there's this thing that's more powerful. That hubris and that horror of human arrogance and our demand for a sort of power on its own is, I think, the sort of driving force, is the tip of the spear, and that's what we've, I guess, got to oppose. And so I don't know, man. I'd like to sort of go back and make a movie. I don't know how I would marshal myself to do that, because I think about my children. Yeah. I think about how long is this going to go before people are rounding our kids up into camps. That's what I do think's coming down the barrel, is rounding our kids up into camps. So I think that the reason we're all here together is not to make movies. I think it's to build armies. I think we're here to build armies. Participate in it. Like maybe I'll go to jail for rape for 10 years in June next year, and I'll be all right. I'll just fucking read books to this bunch of fuckers in here, you know. But maybe it's not that. Maybe it's right. Let's go. I knew it. I knew God must have put it in me that I'm crazy enough to die for shit for a reason. He must have put that there for a reason. Because now I'm not going to do it for some narcissistic, arrogant thing. I'm doing it for something that matters. Same as you, Joe. Same as you. Like, you know, if we have to die for it, we're like, you know, get ready. You've got your skill set's better. Yours might be, you know, you're going to be able to block a few headshots.
Tooled up. I'm ready, mate. I'm ready.
So once you've got like a population or a significant percentage of the population ready for martyrdom, I'm scared. I don't like suffering. I don't like mild discomfort. I don't want to go bald. Let alone fucking have my head cut off.
Yeah, I think Joe's a good example of it too, because you think about Joe's the bruiser, but yet he's bringing all this deep philosophy and spirit, and that's only, I feel like only Jesus. He transforms us.
Yeah.
What are we all going to do? What's he done to you, Joe?
Transformed me, that's for sure.
What from to what?
From a psychotic, alcoholic, drug addict maniac to someone who tries to live in line with his will on a daily basis and help other people, emptying myself every day. You know, and it's not always easy, but I feel like I do pretty good with that. Even if I find that I'm scrolling excessively on my phone or looking at jackets or trainers and bullshit or things on Instagram, do you know what I mean? I think this ain't useful to no one, and this isn't what I should be doing. Whereas I guess like the way the culture's set up, it's like you're just self-serving all the time, looking for the next thing, go to work to get the money to get that, to do that, to do that. And I don't do that now. I fall into it short periods of time. And for me, I believe once you have like a real spiritual awakening through Christ, when you try and fill that void with something else, you'll fall into complete despair in no time.
Yeah,
It's been my
it does.
experience.
Yeah, complete despair in no time. Like, it's staggered, isn't it? The sort of awakening in, like, from drug addiction, it's a staggered awakening. You get this moment, you get a window when you stop taking drugs and stop drinking, where you, like, and Dave actually had a pretty unusual experience of it, because Dave got hit up by the Lord, like, at 16 or something stupid, isn't it?
17, right before I turned 18.
And he went from heroin to Jesus straight away.
I mean, mine was very black and white. It was in a day. I mean, was running from him, and he grabbed a hold of me. Like, was not pursuing him. Was going the opposite way. Mine was very dramatic. Most people don't have the same or similar type deal, but mine was really dramatic. I was fourth time in rehab, and it was like a repeat offender program. I was about to go to jail. I told a West Texas judge to go F himself, and he had slapped me with a couple warrants. And so when I was in that, like, I mean, it blew me up big time. But most people don't, even though, like, the outside circumstances are different. I mean, what really happened was what happened internally. And when I try and think about that time, I mean, when he saved me, like, food tastes different. Things smell different. Like, trying to describe what happened to me internally, I mean, just coming to the realization that God's actually real, like, he's actually real. It absolutely, the best word for it's reborn, to be honest.
Oh!
I knew it. I knew you were going to do that.
We can't cheapen it with that.
No.
Yeah, that's good. It is like being reborn. See you though, Jake. Any other you was Christian? What happened if you have it anyway? Although, I mean, I know Joe was sort of Catholic family. How are you getting? When is there a sort of a distinct moment where you feel like you're the recipient of that kind of vivid grace? What is it? When does it happen if you grow up in a Christian family?
Well, I think it's the understanding that it's not like here's a really good person and therefore he's elevated over somebody who's done drugs or been in addiction. When you realize none of us are good. Even at the best that we could possibly be, even if you came from a good family, even if you've done all the right things, apart from Jesus, it's not enough. So there has to be a point of salvation and then the process of salvation that happens. So I'm thankful for my upbringing. I'm thankful that I grew up in church, but it's not enough that you were in a family and you went to church and therefore you're automatically saved. You have to work out your salvation. So for me, it was like, I gave my life to Jesus at a young age, and then there's just been this process over the last 30 years of stripping away of self, of thinking I got something right just to realize I was letting pride or arrogance slip in, and let God, through sanctification, sharpen and shaping me to make me more like him. And we talk all the time about life. Life has a way of doing it. It doesn't mean that if you grew up in a Christian home or you've had a good family that you're not going to go through trials or hardships or any of those things. So I think for me, pride has been the thing that's been constantly chipped off of me over a long times of a lot of ups and downs, hardships, trials. And so I feel like mine wasn't, I wasn't doing hardcore drugs at 5 years old, but I gave my life to Jesus when I was 6. And it was real.
Do you remember it?
I remember it.
What was it? What do you remember?
The moment that you keep talking about, we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
We're gonna die. That's what I mean. I remember at 6. And my mom had cancer when I was young. That was a very okay, this is like real life happening, a lot of bad things happening. And if I don't know Jesus, if I don't have an understanding of where I'm going when I die, and if I don't trust him with my life, I'm in trouble, no matter where I came from. And so, man, it's been a process, but God's faithful through it all. Even us sitting in this room is a result of God's faithfulness in our story.
I keep thinking about like the clay and the potter, and I've been having these meditative experiences that I learned TM, you know, transcendental meditation, years ago with the David Lynch Foundation, which is like the repetition of a mantra. It's a word they give you that don't have no meaning, they say, so that you can ultimately, through turning that word over in your mind, to achieve these kind of states of, I guess, relaxation, one might say, or although maybe they're accompanying phenomena, you know. Anyway, so I sort of put that aside, coming to the Lord, but I've been doing this Course of Miracles, which is, you know, it's like a Christian. It's Christian. There's when I'm reading it, there's nothing in it. Like now, my manner of discernment is to identify if ever anything is straying outside of this. That's what I look for. Say, you know, like I go yoga, and I know that there's people that teach, like some of my Christian and scripture teachers, oh, don't go yoga, it's opening you up for demonic possession or whatever. And I'm like, I ain't doing that to me, because all I'm thinking about is Jesus, like when I'm in there.
It's become real to you. That's why I think it's even the hard time of like, I'm not going to go do anything that takes away from my journey with Christ, which it's harder when somebody's maybe grown up in that world to see the importance. Like, this is everything. This is what we have. But if you don't have that center line, which is the most of the world, you don't even know when you're off. That's what we always talk about, countries that are still trying to put the definition of morality, but they don't believe in God.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is there anything? If there's no God, then do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it. So I think it's real for you, man, and it's beautiful to see.
Thank you.
I've been to that yoga class. You better be thinking about Jesus while you're in there.
There are some distractions. You have to stay close to the Lord.
Yeah.
Jesus, just me and you, Jesus. Oh yeah, I noticed that. But like, yeah, for me, like the idea that I, on my own, in a house, this is me, I'm not talking about anyone else, would not, like, you know, because I don't know when it happened, it must have happened recently, where I was like, there was nothing to do. And like, the idea that I would look at porn, it's just, I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't, that has become unacceptable. That has become unacceptable to me. And like, I was a person that as soon as I was on my own, I'm like, well, how am I gonna have sex? Or what am I gonna do? This is ridiculous. I can't believe it, that it's been taken. And if you can take that, I guess now what it is it's like jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is good. I tell you why jiu-jitsu is good, because it's like, you know, in England the word is cordial, like Kiora or Ribena, or I don't know if Americans even have it, I can't work it out, where you pour like a thick syrup of a thing, then you add water, and then that's the drink. Like, you know, it'd be an orange one. You can have soda streams, you can have a Coca-Cola one. It's always shit. But so anyway, like, I think what jiu-jitsu does is it's a thicker version of life, because what we have to do in jiu-jitsu is you have to relax and surrender, sort of, but you also have to be active. You have to be in this state of active surrender. And because I do it with, like, Carlos, my teacher, is like a master, like a black belt, like, he'll like just elevate the tension at will. Like, and the other day, and frankly without warning, he fucking assaulted me. I mean, that's the only way to describe it. He just came over, got on me, like, we were talking, it was going well, I thought, like, we were just having a chat, and then he just went whom through at me, like got me underneath him, and then he was like punching me, but he was pulling the punches, you know, but it felt like the equivalent of, what can I do it on? It was sort of like going like, just sort of like, but still in your face. It's like, fucking hell, no! Like, right, what I noticed is when I was in that state of agitation, I forgot how to do the stuff. I forgot how to go, right, trap that arm, trap that leg, buck your hips, throw him over your head, keep aware of his arms, like, then you'll be okay. You know, like, so when the tension, like, but if it's sort of gradual, I can adjust to it. And so what I'm trying to learn is, in the environments of increasing stimulation, can I maintain my connection with God? What's been amazing, like in the last year, obviously being accused or charged with rape and everything, is like when we go to them court cases, like, I feel held. Like, when we sort of go there, I feel like that is not like, when I sort of see all the paparazzi leaning over, I think like, ugh, this is not, you guys are not, you're not the goodies. You're not the goodies. You're not like, we're here to make sure justice is done. You can see that it's sort of monstrous. And even when you're in the court, the absurdity of it, the wigs, the robes, the sigils. Like, why is there a sigil of a unicorn chained and a lion? What is that? What do you mean? Get rid of it then. If it don't mean anything, get rid of it. Don't do it. Why are you wearing a wig? If it don't mean anything, don't do it. Why are you wearing a wig? If it don't mean anything, if nothing means anything, everyone knows that there's a secondary, deeper reality that we are participating in all the time. And what Christianity does is tells you how to negotiate with it, enhance it, and avoid the comparable and similar energy systems that will capture you if you're not careful. And I suppose, I don't know, man, I'm interested in mysticism, so I get fucking confused.
So James 1, where it talks about consider it pure joy when you face trials of any kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance, and then let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. And I think God is good that he doesn't always give it to us all at once. Here's just all the testing and trial all at once. But then he gives you walk through life and it's like, how good is your training? Are you still lacking in anything? So when Carlos just beats you up, it's like, that's a test.
Yeah.
Like, you're still lacking in this, and this. Yeah. But as that pressure gets put on you, the more pressure you're under, the better endurance you have. And one day you're lacking in nothing. That's the promise from God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need the trials. Like, you need it. You can't be ready for it and the other side unless you have that trials. Like, I think even when jiu-jitsu started, that was kind of the premise of it, except they didn't hold their punches. Yeah. And that's really where Carlos came from. But what I like about jiu-jitsu, it is just a microcosm of this world. And so, like, it's not about, I mean, yes, it's about getting better as a grappler, but, it's really about working out your real world stuff on the mats. It's given like that, the one you mentioned, the lady that in Spain that will crawl with you up a hill in a same way. It's that doing something physically that's representing what's going on internally.
Yeah. I wonder why that's so important. I suppose because we are incarnated. We're in flesh. We're spirit in flesh. So working it out in the flesh is important. Yeah. The problem we have is we go so into the flesh, into decadence, hedonism, worship of sexuality, all of the false idol stuff is don't worship other stuff. I noticed as well lately how often there are references in the Old Testament to things that sound like antennae. There are literal poles and horns and things that sound like their function is to direct ethereal and difficult to detect energy. But like, you're right, like can you command the flesh through surrender? Through surrender, can you yield? I don't know, man. All right, well, listen, we've been doing this for so long. We should wrap it up because we've got to do some other stuff.
What about my clip? Did y'all have mine?
Oh, all right,
that's a
Dave's
good one.
Clip. All right, this is Dave. What is it, Dave?
End on a light note.
Yeah, this one's funny. It's a guy sharing a heartfelt moment.
It's a guy sharing a heartfelt moment. Yeah. That's just all Dave's willing to give us.
I was alone on the porch with my boy one night, just me and him. And I looked at him and he looked at me and I said, would you rather have $10 million in your pocket right now, or for one night, and one night only, get all the boys back together and have a bonfire? And he looked at me and he said, are you fucking retarded? Of course I'm taking that money. I have a family. I need that money. I don't even like half our friends. I'm just stuck with them from high school. I've outgrown them like 3 separate times. And I'm just chained in this group chat. And I don't even know who's who anymore because someone got an Android and now all the bubbles are green. And it's really ruined the group chat. It's really ruined the chemistry anybody had going. I don't even know if everybody can see the memes or the GIFs. And Mike, he hates Mike, man. He was telling me how much he hates Mike. Mike cheats at golf. We all know that. And I'm pretty sure that cheating from golf is starting to transfer into his marriage. He's doing some real shady stuff when the sun goes down. On and off the course. I'll tell you that right now. I I get it, man. A lot of our friends they're 35 years old. They're still single. It's scary. It's like being around a loaded gun with a penis. It's scary. I gotta distance myself from those guys too. This guy kind of opened my eyes when he said that, actually. I stopped talking to him. I realized we really don't have much in common either. I don't even think he knows my middle name. So yeah, I'm taking that $10 million as well. And I'm just gonna chill. Maybe start a company or something.
It's very well balanced. The transitions are so good.
So good.
Like the transition from like, it really does sound like, yeah, it's going to be overly sincere and mawkish.
Yeah.
Then my favourite is when he goes into Mike. I don't even like Mike. When it gets particular. That's very funny. That's very funny. All right, thanks for joining us, you lot. And the next show, what day is this even? Friday. Monday is good, isn't it? This is Friday. Mm-hmm. Monday is a lot of content about COVID, all the stuff I was trying to talk about at the beginning, actually. That's all in the show Monday. Stuff that's going on in the UK. Elon Musk's war with the EU. And then the other one is COVID, Elon Musk's war with the EU. I can't remember it. You'll have to watch the show. All right, see you later. Bye.